Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to more children's Torah stories. Today's story is called Moshe Hits the Rock. What happened last time was that Korach had come and said, "Why should Moshe and Aaron be the boss of the Jewish people? Everyone should be the boss." But what he really meant was, I should be the boss. This was, that isn't Moshe. I don't know. You guys took Moshe. I don't know where he went. But this was Korach. I want to be the boss. And you remember what happened to Korach in the end? He got swallowed up by the ground. Gone. Korach got swallowed up. Yes, there's Moshe. Will you bring me Moshe? And then Hashem said, okay, now we will do a special test. Brilliant. To see who should be the boss. And people from each of the tribes would bring a stick to the Mishkan, to Hashem's special home, and Aaron would bring a stick from the tribe of Levi. They all would bring their sticks, and then Hashem would say who is going to be the boss of the Mishkan of Hashem's special home. Well, they all brought in their sticks, and they left their sticks there overnight, and then the next morning they came to look. Well, all the other sticks were just normal sticks. But Aaron's stick had grown beautiful flowers. And there were even some nuts growing from those flowers. So it had turned into a little tree. Even though it was just sitting by itself, it grew flowers and nuts. Do you know what kind of nuts it was, Yeladim? It was almonds. So it even grew little almonds. Who likes almonds? Put up your hand if you like almonds. Great. So that's what was growing. I don't know if anybody ate it. They probably didn't. But they even grew almonds on Aaron's stick. And that was to show that Hashem really did choose Aaron as the one to be the boss of Hashem's holy place. Well, I haven't got Aaron's stick, as you've got to imagine it in your head. Well, then, what happened was, remember, the Jewish people had to be in the desert for 40 years, Hashem said. 40 years before they could come into the land of Israel. Well, they were in the desert for those 40 years, which was a long time. And at the end of those 40 years, Moshe's sister Miriam became old, and it was her time to not be around anymore. So she died, which means that she went to be back with Hashem. So Miriam died, but then there was a problem. Firstly, Moshe and Aaron, of course, were very, very sad that their sister had died, but there was something else that was now an issue. Because remember how the Jewish people had water in the desert? Well, they got that water in the desert because of Miriam. Miriam was so good and so special that Hashem made sure the whole Jewish people got water because of her. But now that she wasn't around anymore, guess what? No more water. So the Jewish people once again came to Moshe and Aaron, and they said, Moshe and Aaron, we don't have water. We want water. Well, at least that wasn't the worst way to ask. Do you remember some of the way they used to ask for water in the past when they first came out of Egypt? They were like, we want water. Where's our water? Why did you take us to the desert with no water? It wasn't so bad this time around. But they still weren't asking the best way. The best way is to say, Moshe and Aaron, we know that we don't have any water, but we also know that Hashem is taking care of us. Please, will you ask Hashem to give us some water? That would be a really good way to do it. Or even, guess what? They could have just asked Hashem themselves, please, Hashem, will you give us water? We would really appreciate it. So it wasn't the best way that they asked, wasn't the worst way that we asked. We don't have any water. We need water. Okay. So Moshe and Aaron went to ask Hashem. They went to Hashem's special house. Hashem, what should we do? Well, Hashem came with a cloud. Remember, the cloud's like Hashem's microphone. The cloud's how Hashem speaks to them. Hashem came with a cloud, and Hashem said, Moshe, I want you to take your stick, the stick that you used in Egypt. Remember the stick that Hashem used, that Moshe used so many times? That was the stick that hit the river Nile. What happened when the stick hit the river Nile? Do you remember? It turned into blood. Well done. And another time that stick hit the river Nile, and what came out of the river Nile? What animals? Frogs. That was the stick that did all these miracles. Hashem said, take that stick and go and talk to a rock. I will show you the rock. Go and talk to the rock, and then you will get water out of that rock. Wow. Moshe and Aaron and all the Jewish people went. As Moshe went walking along into the desert, and there he found the rock that Hashem was talking about. So Moshe said, okay, Hashem said I must talk to the rock. This will be our rock for today. So Moshe has found the rock. Can I use this as the rock? Thanks. This will be the rock. So Moshe said, listen, you Jewish people who are always causing trouble. Do you think we can get water out of this rock? Look. And he took a stick and he hit the rock. And nothing happened. And he took the stick and he hit the rock again. And so much water came out. Tons and tons of water came out. Enough for the whole Jewish people. And everyone said, yay, yay, we get water. And Hashem said, Moshe, come to the Ohel Moed. I need to speak to you. I need to speak to you about something very important. There was something wrong. Moshe did something wrong here, Yeladim. Do any of you know what it is, what Moshe did wrong? Well, I'll tell you the truth. I'm not sure what Moshe did wrong. There are a few different ideas, but let's listen to what Hashem says. Hashem says, Moshe and Aaron, I need to tell you both, you didn't listen to me nicely when I told you what to do. And so, I'm sorry to say, but you cannot go into the land of Israel. You are going to have to stay in the desert. Oh man, that's so sad. Isn't that sad, Yeladim? Moshe and Aaron did such a good job. They really wanted to go into the land of Israel. But Hashem said, I'm sorry, but you cannot, because you did not listen properly. Well, what was it that Moshe did wrong? I'm going to tell you 3 different ideas, and you can tell me what you think it really was, okay? So, the first idea is that maybe, remember what Hashem said, Moshe, I want you to talk to the rock. Did Moshe talk to the rock? No. What did he do? He smacked the rock. And Hashem said, Moshe, you didn't listen properly. I didn't say smack the rock. I said talk to the rock. And that's why you didn't listen properly. Why is that such a big deal? What difference does it make? It's just a rock. If Moshe hits a rock or talks to a rock. Do you have a rock at home, Yeladim, that you talk to the rock and you stroke it and you're so kind and you bring it food? No, man. Rocks aren't like that. You don't need to be kind and gentle to a rock. So what difference does it make if Moshe smacked the rock or if he talked to the rock? The answer is because the rock was teaching the Jewish people. When Hashem says to the Jewish people, that's pretending a rock. When Hashem says, Jewish people, look, when I talk to you, I want you to do what I say. That's a way of telling a lesson in a kind and gentle way. When you smack the rock, that means listen or I'm going to smack you. Yeladim, what would you rather your parents said? If there's something your parents want you to do you want your parents to talk to you or do you want your parents to smack you? Give me a thumbs up if you want your parents to smack you. A thumbs down if you don't want your parents to smack you. A thumbs up if you want your parents to talk to you. A thumbs down if you don't want your parents to talk to you. Well, Yeladim, I can see that you all want your parents to talk to you and not smack you. Of course, that's what Hashem wants as well. So that's why Hashem wanted Moshe to talk to the rock so the Jewish people would understand. Do you know what Hashem loves doing? Hashem loves talking. Hashem does not love smacking. If Hashem talks nicely and we listen nicely, then everything will be great. But the problem was that Moshe didn't do that. Moshe was the one who didn't listen. Instead of talking nicely to the rock, what did Moshe do? He gave the rock a smacky smack. So the Jewish people said, oh, Hashem likes smacky smack. So they got the wrong message. So that's why Hashem says, Moshe, you didn't tell the people what I wanted them to understand. Now they think that I want to smack them all day long. And that is not true. And Moshe, because you don't understand what the Jewish people need, because of that, you can't bring them into the land of Israel. That's way number one. Maybe that was what Moshe did wrong. Shall I tell you way number two as well? Another way maybe Moshe did something wrong was that Moshe shouted at the Jewish people. It's a similar one. Do you remember what he said? Listen, you Jewish people who always cause trouble. Hashem wasn't cross with the Jewish people. The Jewish people were thirsty. It's okay to ask for water when you're thirsty. It's true, you should ask for water nicely. You shouldn't ask for water, hey, I want water, I'm thirsty. Please, may I have some water? That's a much better way to ask for water. But even if the Jewish people didn't ask nicely, Hashem wasn't cross with them. But when Moshe said, listen, you Jewish people always cause trouble, they thought that Moshe was cross and Hashem was cross. And Hashem said, Moshe, if you make the Jewish people think that I'm cross with them, then you can't be the boss of the Jewish people anymore. Should I tell you a third thing maybe that went wrong over here? The third one is that Moshe said, listen, you Jewish people cause trouble all the time. And then he said, should we take water out of the rock? Me and Aaron, should we take water out of the rock? Tell me, Yeladim, who actually made water come out of the rock? Actually, for real. Who was it? Hashem. Exactly, you clever Yeladim. Hashem makes water come out of the rock. Can Moshe make water come out of the rock? No way, Jose. Can Aaron make water come out of the rock? Definitely not. Only Hashem. Moshe should have said, instead of, listen now, you Jewish people who cause trouble, you should have said, dear Jewish people, would you like to see Hashem make water come out of the rock? And then he should have walked over and said, Mr. Rock, or maybe Mrs. Rock, I don't know, Rocky Rock, please will you make water come out? Hashem said, if he said that, then beautiful fresh water would have come out. All the people would have said, hooray! Moshe and Aaron would have said, hooray! And Hashem would have said, Moshe and Aaron, now you can take the Jewish people into the land of Israel. But because that isn't the way that it happened, that Moshe didn't do it exactly the way Hashem wanted, so Hashem said, Moshe, I'm sorry to tell you, you will not be the one to bring the Jewish people into the land of Israel. Well, then Moshe said, okay, Hashem, I understand that I can't be the boss of the Jewish people to bring them into Israel, but please find a good boss for the Jewish people. Please find someone who cares about them, someone who understands them, someone who will have patience for the Jewish people and will also make sure that they do the right thing and listen to Hashem. Please, Hashem, will you find the right person? What do you think Hashem said, Yeladim? Did Hashem say, nah, I'm just going to say whoever? Or did Hashem say, yes, I'm going to find the best person? That is what Hashem said. I will find the bestest best person to be the boss of the Jewish people. Hashem, do you think it will be my children? Maybe Gershom and Eliezer, my children, can they be the next bosses of the Jewish people? No, I'm sorry, Moshe. Your children are not going to be the best ones. It's going to be someone else. Someone who we've met before. Someone who always tried to do the right thing and to help you and to help the Jewish people. Do you know who that is, Yeladim? Who is going to take over after Moshe? It is this man, Yehoshua. In English, Joshua. Hashem said, Moshe, Joshua, Yeshua, is going to be the one who will take over from you. So please put your hand on his head and give him a special blessing to say that, Yehoshua, I believe in you and I hope that it goes well. Do you think Moshe is going to do that, Yeladim, or do you think Moshe is going to say, no, I don't want to, I feel sad? Moshe didn't say that. Moshe said, of course, Hashem. And in fact, Hashem said, Moshe, put one hand on Yeshua's head. You know what Moshe did? He put two hands on Yeshua's head because he said, Yeshua, with all my heart, I hope that you will be a wonderful leader of the Jewish people and that you will help them so much. And even when I'm not around anymore, be strong, listen nicely to Hashem, and help the Jewish people to always do the right thing. That is what Moshe said to him. And there are more stories still with Moshe and with Joshua, but that's all the time we have for today. So I'm going to have to tell you those other stories tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, Yeladim. Bye.